Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of ways, basically, of applying our CSS stuffs. Okay, so right off the bat, let's say um, we want to do something. Okay, so right off the, one thing I want to do is I want these to be bigger, right? And there's no option inside of the thing to do that. So I need to select these. That's basically our goal. Is that we need to be able to select those through a CSS rule, and then using that we can then kind of go from there. Okay. Now to select them, I don't know what these have, right? So I know that they're links, but if I just do link, if I say links, blah, 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 it's going to apply to all links. And I only want to apply it to just these ones. So I need to know where those are, or what IDs or classes are attached to those, and then I can target those in my own CSS. So the easiest way to do that is just to do this. It's actually pretty easy. If you go up, if you're in Google, you go to settings, or I'm sorry, not settings, more tools, and then you want developer tools. On Firefox, it's like web console. I can't remember. It's something. But anyway, here, when I hover over it, you can see all these things. Now, you're going to notice that when I go over body, that's when everything gets highlighted, okay? Because the head obviously is all that CSS stuff, like, that's where it's linking all the different technologies. So that's not going to show anything here. And then after the body, you can see there's all these scripts, and these are all different like functions that are basically being run on top of this. So that again isn't going to be very useful. So everything I need is going to be inside of right in here where it says body class. So it's already expanded. So then what I'm going to do, let me make sure it's expanded. Oops, I thought I did a, yep. So I'm going to expand that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hover down. Okay, so now you can see there's the WP admin bar. So see how I highlight it, turns blue. I don't want that, but then this one right here, page. Everything is inside of this page. So I'm going to click on that to open that up. And then I can see sticky wrapper and then content. Okay, so the sticky wrapper, that seems to be the heading. That's on the top, right? So most websites, especially WordPress sites, they usually have a heading section, their content section, and then a footer section. And so this one has this sticky wrapper on the top, content, and then see how it says footer ID? I guarantee that's probably highlighting the bottom. Okay, so they do that same sandwich, which we do kind of in other sites as well. So you're almost always going to see a heading, content, and might call it body. They might call it different things, but usually some sort of heading, blah 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 blah. So what I want is going to be, let's scroll back up. I want to go to the sticky wrapper, or okay, sticky wrapper. Okay, so see how it's highlighting that. Now I'm going to expand that because what I want to do is this. I want to get as selective as I can, right? So if there is an ID that's specifically for those, that's the one I want. I don't want to grab just like the whole header because I might, again, may change things I don't want. Or if it's not specific enough, it won't overwrite. Actually, both work. The previous code. So I want to get as specific as I can to make sure I get only that and also that it does function. So I'm going to open up that sticky wrapper. Then there's this masthead, right? So I'm going to open up. You can see that's still in there. And then we have this before, this container, after, and head. So if you look, there's not really anything in here. I'm going to expand. There's site branding. Oh, here we go. ID main nav, right? So you can see that's what I want. That's the guide. So, and it's an ID. So if you remember, IDs are very specific. They're more specific than classes. So I can either memorize this, but I'm a dummy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this. And if you go down, you can see copy. And I can copy selector. It makes things so easy. Click on copy selector. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code, go to my styles. I'm going to go after this. I'm going to hit Control V. There it is. Hashtag main nav. Open my brace. And then all I'm going to do, oh, actually, I need to do this too. So I don't want to just do the main nav because that's the chunk. I actually want to do the links. So I'm going to do a link, right? Because that's even more specific. So I do a space. So it means inside of that, the links. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do font size. And then I don't even know what I want. Let's do 48px. And let's just, oops, I didn't do that. And then Control S. And then if we go over here and I refresh, it's way too big, but you can see that it's working, right? Let's just lower that a little bit. Let's do 24. Let's see if that works. Control S. Over here, Control R is refresh. That's good. Okay, so that's how, if you're looking to grab a specific element, the best way to do it is to go like this. Now, some of them, this one doesn't seem to do it. When I'm in Firefox, it'll actually, when you highlight over it, it'll actually highlight this way. It'll go the other direction, which I find a little bit easier. But for whatever reason, ain't letting us do it that way. So either way, basically you can see what you have over here, and then you can see where those elements are on the other side, which is pretty handy. Okay. Now, another thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and close it. So any element you can do that with, that will totally work. Okay. I can also do this too. So let's say like I can do it with the other stuff, but let's say I want my H's to all be like orange, right? So I don't have to specifically link that. I could do like, I'll do H1, H2, H3, H4. Now this might not work because it might not be specific enough. H6. So I'll grab all my H's and I'll do color, and we'll do orange. Okay. Now because these are just generically my H's, it might not actually work. Let's see if it does. Yeah, see, so it didn't work because there's probably a tag or an ID or a class on these it's just not overriding. But it is possible to like set defaults in there. But again, if these all have specific tags or specific classes or IDs, you're not going to win that battle. So you'd have to find them doing that. So it's one of those things. But it is possible just to generically, like I could do background color and all that, like you would normally do in your other stuff. It's just because yours is just broadly saying these tags, and theirs are saying, this class. That class is going to override just your generic tag. So just be aware of that. It might not work. Okay. So let's say I want to do something where I just want to put orange borders around these. Okay. So we can do that, but I don't want to put on all pictures. And even if I go and I do that thing I just did, I could find the classes here, but it's very possible there'll be other classes with the same. There's going to be more of those. I only want it on these specific ones, just these 4. So I could probably do it with a theme, but we're going to do it through the other thing. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and we're going to edit with Elementor. So we're back in Elementor. All right. And then what I can do is that I can go down here. I can select this element, right? Now, if you go to Advanced, you can add a class or ID to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say cars. Call it card cars, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and save it. Control C, and then I'm going to go to this one. Actually, let's update just to make sure because I don't know if it will. And I'm just going to add that class to all of them. So I'll select this one. Again, go to Advanced. I'm just going to Control V, update. Okay, go to this one. Again, Advanced, Control V, update. And then I'll do this last one here, Advanced, and Control V, and update. So now all of those have that class. And if I go to the console or inspector or whatever, you will see that it'll actually show up and it'll be like, yeah, it's in that class. So these all now have, these all now have that class applied. And so now when I go in here, I can go dot card cars, I think that's what it was, right? And then I'll just say border dash style, and we'll just do solid. And then border dash color, and I'll just do, just so you can see it, we'll just do orange. Okay, and I'll save that, Control S. Now when I go to refresh this, and if I scroll down, they all have the orange borders. So it's possible to make your own classes by just applying them in here. And you can do it other ways as well. But I figure we're already in Elementor, we'll just use its theme. You can add classes things. So if there's something you're doing a lot of, and you're like, I always want all these things to have those, you could totally apply those classes and then just target them in your own child theme, which is also pretty cool. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to exit back out of this. So site settings theme, no. Oh, there we go. Exit to dashboard. I don't really want to go to dashboard. I'm going to go back out to go back to the site here anyway. So let's just do. I want to. Well, I'll do this. It doesn't matter. So I'm back on the site, and I'm just going to hit new inventory. Now, one of the things I don't like that this has built into it, I thought we turned it off. Maybe we didn't. Maybe it wasn't an option. I don't know. But I don't like this, the breadcrumb navigation. Not a fan. Just don't like it. So I want to get rid of this, right? And that's a really common thing. There might be like, I just don't like the thing that's there and I just want it gone. It's actually really easy. We're going to do what we did last time, where I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to more tools and then developer tools. I'm going to find out what this is. So we're going to go over here and let's see. Okay, it's underneath page, open up page. So it's not part of the sticky wrapper. It's part of breadcrumb. And I want all the breadcrumb. I'm not specifically trying to target those. I'm trying to take that whole bar. So it says ID breadcrumb. And ID is perfect because ID is very specific. So sometimes if you have a class, there's a chance that you still might not get what you want. But if it's an ID, you're pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and it's ID breadcrumb. And I can just right click and copy. Or I just know what it is. It's breadcrumb. So I'm going to go over here and it's an ID. So I'm going to start with a hashtag. Hashtag breadcrumb. And this is we're just going to go display and say none, thank you. Save it. And then if I go back over here, ba-doop, it's gone, which is pretty sweet. So we can do that for all sorts of things. So you can see where the power is, that you can basically if there's like, let's say there's a theme you really like, but it just has this one thing and you're like, ugh. You could totally just make a child theme and just remove it or adapt it or change it in some way, and you can override all of those elements. So like, you know, I could add a class to like this thing and then make it so all of the money symbols like bounce or something. You could do all sorts of different stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, so it allows me to override. I think that was mostly I wanted to show you as far as the child theme is concerned. Now later on, when you go to do your own site project and stuff, you're probably going to utilize that a bit more. I just want to show you how like different scenarios of trying to fix things or adjust things. But I think you probably got a good enough idea from there. All right, so good luck. If you run any problems, let me know. Other than that, good work, guys. Keep on. Just save this and, you know, zip it and send it to me.